And by the way, did I see you and Herman Lee crowd surfing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did.
Alright guys, what's up? This is Ryan with Ethereal Metal Webzine, and I'm here today with Meek, Vision of Atlantis. Meek, thanks so much for taking the time today, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is awesome.
It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely, man. So before we chat about Pirates and your first headlining tour in the US, I just wanted to ask, how have you been doing with you, your family, the band, your friends, since all these last 3 years with the lockdowns?
Well, complicated question.
Right?
Obviously, especially for me as an Italian, it was like not really the best time.
Right.
Like, we had a lot of issues in Italy, and we had several lockdowns. Like especially like now that I'm back to traveling, touring, and everything else, confronting with others, I realized that in Italy we struggled a bit more. We had like way more restrictions for longer periods, and I have to admit that there were like 6 or 7 months in which I couldn't even go to my parents and say for a dinner or something. So it was difficult, but at the same time I have to admit that being a musician and having this this artsy side of my life, helping me, made a difference.
That's awesome.
Because I could truly, emerge into music. I could truly emerge into what I love to do, and it was like a life-saving element.
Absolutely.
I truly believe that without music, I would have been way more lost.
In a bad spot.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It was difficult, but yeah, I truly, gave everything I have into composing, writing, performing at home, training.
Right.
I for the first time after ages I got back my guitar in my hand, and I started to train again. As
oh,
a
nice.
Yeah. So there were of course a lot of lows, but also some high that made
awesome.
me cope with this last 3 years.
Through it. Yeah,
but anyways, it's gone. That's what matters. Like, it's gone. It's forgotten. It's in the past. Like, we are here traveling with no restrictions, with no masks. So
exactly,
it's in the past.
Exactly. We're moving past it. Definitely, man. That's awesome. So I wanted to ask about 70,000 Tons of Metal.
Yeah.
2016 saw Vision's first time on the cruise with a follow-up visit in 2019 with the current lineup, then just again back last month. How was it this year, and what were some of the most memorable moments? And by the way, did I see you and Herman Lee crowd surfing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Of course, with Dragon Force, we really bonded during the last US tour.
Absolutely.
And right now, whenever we are together in the same festival or in the same environment, we truly are friends.
That's
it's
awesome.
like we really are real friends besides the music, like beyond the music aspect. And yeah, he was like, oh, come on, man, you have to do this with me. You have to do this with me. He did it with Dushi, he did it with me.
That's awesome.
Herman is knows how to have fun.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
That's cool.
The thing is that a cruise is basically a never-ending party. When you step foot into the cruise, this is where the party begins. And for like 5 days, you can forget about time. You can forget about a schedule, a routine. Like these words makes no sense over there.
Right. Right.
So you eat when you feel like eating. You sleep when you feel like sleeping. I think that I've slept like a total of 10 hours in 5 days or something.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. But this is the spirit of the cruise, because you don't have internet connection. You don't have
exactly
phone network. There is nothing that can distract you from the magical environment of the cruise itself.
Yeah.
And you just have fun. You just have fun. So yeah, we had the luck of having nice slots. I mean, it was really late for Visions because it was 1:30 a.m. on the first day and 2:30.
Yeah.
But these are good slots for the cruise because basically everyone is awake till 5 a.m. So that is what in a normal context would be like playing at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. So we had a really, really good time.
That's awesome, man. And outside of Visions, of course, what were some of the bands you most enjoyed seeing while you were there?
Well, Dragon Force, that's for sure. I'm a big fan of Camelot.
Okay.
And I was
With Tommy?
so happy
Yeah.
when they were announced. Yeah, it's like I love the band since even before Tommy, and when Tommy jumped in, I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this is the perfect singer for them.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I'm a huge fan. And then I had a couple of friends like Elven King. They are from my region in Italy, and
yeah.
I was super happy that they played there. Deathless Legacy, this is a new coming band. You can
Okay,
act also
that's
from
cool.
Italy, and I know them personally. Funny fact, I was like attending a show theirs 1 week or 1 week and a half before the cruise when they were not yet announced, and I was like, oh guys, it's so cool, you're doing so well. And then I saw that they were announced on the cruise, and I was like, okay, this is just perfect.
That's cool.
So
Nice.
yeah, there are several bands that I've been watching, and yeah,
Awesome.
Corpiklani
Cool, of
played
course,
there.
of
Yeah,
course.
you know, it's
Yeah.
always a party with them. So yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. So after 70,000 was done, you headed out west, kicked off your first ever North American headlining tour, which is awesome. Congratulations. We're so glad to have you guys here for your first headliner. How's it feel?
Well, it feels like a responsibility.
Yeah.
That's the right word. It's
Definitely.
amazing. I am so proud of what we're doing. You know, Visions of Atlantis struggled through the years. You know, it's no secret because this band
Sure.
exists since 2020,
Right.
and truth to be told, only with the new lineup we found real stability. You know,
Yeah.
like now,
Yeah.
the reason why this lineup is ongoing since 2018 with no variation, with no fights, and touring that much is because we really are a family. We
Absolutely.
understand each other. Of course, we all have our bad moments, but we cope with them. We truly love each other. Like, this is no joke, you know. Like I truly love each and every single one of my current band members, and I hope that it will stay like this forever. I don't see any reason
Absolutely.
why it shouldn't, because there is such a strong bonding between us.
Yeah,
And this
yeah.
is what allowed us to start touring over and over again in Europe first. Now, hopefully, we will keep the pace also in the US, because thanks to Dragon Force, we opened the gates to the US,
Yeah.
to the United States,
Yeah.
and right now it really seems that we have a crowd. Like headlining, we realize that we have people truly coming for us, and not because of the package, and not because of, you know, it's people that
Absolutely.
come
Yeah.
dressed up as pirates with a VOA
Yeah.
shirt and everything else. So it feels way more real than it was before, because obviously, as all the other bands, we started with supporting, you know,
Yeah.
when you're supporting a huge band like Dragon Force, you know that people are coming to see Dragon Force, so you have to conquer them, which is really piratish, but still it's a mission.
That's a mission.
And
for
now
sure.
we are having the proofs that we conquered people, and we can manage to have a tour here
Yeah.
on our own. So now we need to grow it, you know, we need to seed and grow, but it's working.
That's awesome.
And it's magnificent on one side, but a responsibility.
Yeah, no, like I said, we're really glad you guys are here. It's awesome. So being on tour, while exhausting, of course, must be incredibly exhilarating at the same time, with constant inspiration flowing at any time, could be coming from all directions, whether the energy of the crowds, whether it be just the atmospheres where you are, the different layouts of the different cities you go through, all of that kind of stuff. Do you find most of your inspiration while on the road, or more in the private?
To be truly honest, I'm. it's even hard to explain. To me, when it comes to inspiration, I assume you're talking about songwriting or creating music.
Exactly.
I have this radio running in my head pretty much all the time, you know. So as long as I can stop for a second and listen to the radio that is running that is broadcasting music in my brain, I can compose, I can create. Obviously, the tour is pretty hectic. You know, like things on the road are pretty hectic. You arrive to the venue, things needs to be settled, then you have the sound check, then you have to, of course, get ready, you know. Since we are pirates, there is also some body preparation that you have to that you have to take care of. And plus, we are hosting this VIP session in which we don't only shake hands and, you know, give a signature, but as you could assist like couple minutes ago, we play an actual acoustic show,
Definitely.
which is amazing, but it's also demanding. So we don't really have that time that is needed to shut your brain off for a second and focus on the radio broadcasting music in my mind. You know?
Exactly.
So not always on the road is the best moment to compose, to write, but at the same time we are songwriting, because there are a few moments in which things are stopping, in which you have, you know, just a travel day or some time, and we are in constant touch with our producer, so it's no secret we are already writing a new record. We have already some songs. This morning I had a call with our producer to discuss about you know, a few things. So
that's awesome.
Things are moving.
Yeah, so that was actually my next question was, do you find the time, whether it's writing something down, whether it's like, hey, I'm going to audio record this lyric that I have in mind or something like that.
Yeah. This happens.
On the road, it's a good time for
this
it.
happens
Absolutely.
all the time. Of course, again, to be truly honest, this happens more often when I'm home, when I'm not on the road, but it also happens on the road. This is why I do believe that touring bands should never release, a record every 2 years or every year, because it from my experience, but maybe it's not the same for everyone, but from my experience it would be forced. If I had to release a record every 2 years while touring during the entirety of these 2 years, I wonder how you could make it, because at a certain point you need to lock yourself in the studio and focus on what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Back in the days it was different, like now everything is so fast, so like it feels like a band has to release a record every shot, otherwise you're out of the game.
Right.
I truly don't believe so, because bigger bands, they just don't do it.
Right.
Take Nightwish as an example.
Exactly.
Take Rammstein. They take 5-6 years to release. Let's not talk about Tool, because this is a crazy example. But huge bands, they take their time to release a product that is how they like it. Maybe the fan don't like it because they change style, blah blah blah. But it's what they wanted to do.
Exactly.
And they took the right time to focus on it.
Yeah.
Nothing lasts forever, it all will be gone. Could you still remember when your life began? Cherish the moment without a regret. Nothing lasts forever, it's never too late. Nothing lasts forever, it's never
On tour, bands always try to come up with new creative ideas for VIP packages. I think you guys have a great package where you offer like in a very intimate acoustic setting. Whose idea was this in the original, like when you first started doing it?
I can't answer because I truly don't remember.
Okay.
But I remember that the focus point was that we truly didn't want to, steal money from our fans.
Right.
We want to offer something. We always wanted to offer something.
Absolutely.
Like it's so important that if we receive something, if there is, a payment, it has to be worth the expense.
Yeah.
So one thing, it's giving, a signature and a picture together. So of course, time has value, especially this environment. Even this interview has a value because time is so short. Like after this, I will start to get ready. I will eat something and then jump on stage. So it's truly compact, But at the same time, we always wanted to give something valuable, and we are musicians. So the answer was music. And what can we do musically at the VIP? An acoustic session. This is just it came so naturally. So, but I don't remember whose idea it was.
Yeah. So with the acoustic, you guys have a great sound acoustically as well as you do live.
Thank you very much.
Like fully plugged in. Has there ever been thought to doing an acoustic record?
We've been talking about it, especially with the new pirate vibe. There are so many organic instruments that could happen, but at the same time, it has to be a special disc or a bonus disc. It doesn't have to be an actual release.
Nice.
Because we don't belong there. We still are a metal band.
Absolutely.
So, like we toured in September with Yebanish Privateers. This is their stuff.
Exactly.
Why should a band like Vision of Atlantis step in the foot or in the feet of someone else? It just doesn't make any sense. But an alternative version of some songs offered as a bonus track for this record, this would make sense. We wouldn't be the first band, and we would have the perfect excuse, to use the ethnic instruments or pirate instruments.
Right. No, that's cool. So the current live set for me fits really incredibly well together. From the breaking away of being our own worst enemy in songs like The Deep in the Dark, fighting against systemic lies and silent mutiny, to the wondrous dreams of self-discovery and adventure and tracks like A Journey to Remember, and the freedom following your heart and reaching for your dreams and freedom. This set is one that encourages freedom, courage, and unity, a message that I think is really important in this kind of time that we're living in, right?
Yeah.
What was the selection process like in choosing the songs for this set list, and did it happen organically or?
Well, this is also like let me formulate it the easiest way, because in the end I think you have to be a musician and you have to live as a musician to understand properly what works live and what works in the studio, because in the end it's true like playing stage after stage, festival after festival, you realize that some songs are outstanding in the record but they don't have a certain kind of energy that is needed live. And sometimes I believe that an easy mistake for bands is to just assume that a song is good, and since the song is good, it's also good live. This is, to my eyes, this is not true. And we all agree. We all agree in Visions of Atlantis. So sometimes, like for instance, we have this song in this new record called "I Will Be Gone," which we all agree that the energy in the studio can't be put on the stage live. So I highly doubt that we will ever play this song live. And we prefer Mercy because it's a faster song, because it has a completely different vibe, because it's a completely different energy, that we feel like it's working better live.
That's cool.
It's working better live. And this is why we are also cutting some songs that we were somehow forced to play before, because obviously since the new lineup is active, since we are building up things with this universe of Visions of Atlantis, we want to detach from the past. We really want to, you know, it feels like it's a completely different band, you know. At the end of the day, in 2018, when The Deep and the Dark was out, there was only Thomas and a new band. So of course it doesn't make sense to change name for a band like us, but it's a new band, you know. So everything that happened before doesn't belong to me, doesn't belong to Clemmy, doesn't belong to Dushi, doesn't belong to Herbert. And even for Thomas, it's hard to relate and to, you know, cope with the fact that it's still called Visions of Atlantis. It is a new band, and most of the people that are coming to this show, they don't even have a clue about Delta or Trinity, which I don't deny, but it's just not ours. It's not what belongs to this band. So at the very beginning, we were forced to play certain songs because we only had that catalog. But now that we have 3 records that belongs to this lineup, we can choose, and we can choose the songs that work best from our perspective live. Of course, taking away everything that comes from the past.
No, that's awesome. Switching gears a bit, I wanted to mention that since, and I know you mentioned this earlier, but since solidifying the current lineup in 2018, the band has seen tremendous growth, both musically but also interpersonally as well. So the family aspect that you guys have, it's very obvious, whether you're on stage, you know, during the touring and all of that kind of stuff. Is it something that happened really quickly? Because I've noticed it was very organic.
Well, of course something clicked. When I joined the band, you know, I remember that the first show ever that I played with Visions of Atlantis, when I was like being tested, I got tested live, and it was on a support tour for Camelot, where Siegfried couldn't join for 4 shows, and like they decided to use these 4 shows as a test, you know, for to see how I would relate with them, both musically and on the human side and everything. And I remember that on the very first night after the first show, we stayed up till 3 a.m. So just imagine staying up till 3 a.m. talking in the hotel room with complete strangers. Because in the end, I learned the song, but I didn't know them. I got an email, you know, we got in touch by an email, and I got contacted by Thomas, and he asked me like, do you feel like, you know, jumping in for this first show, and let's see where this goes. So I didn't know anyone. I took the train to Vienna, you know, because we gathered in Vienna. We went to the first show in, I think it was Munich actually. I think it was Munich, and we played the show, and after the show we stayed up till 3 or 4 a.m. chatting, like with completely. So something clicked. It clicked. It truly clicked, and from then on it was like, you know, downhill in terms of difficulties and uphill in terms of performance and cohesion and consistency of the band.
That's awesome.
So it was truly organic, and you can, if you can see it, it means that it passes through.
That's very clear. All right, so Pirates released on May 13th, you know, back in 2022 via Napalm Records. Since then, has really blown up. I was actually just looking last night. Spotify, you're up to 219,000 monthly listeners.
221 today.
Oh, that's even better.
We check it.
That's awesome.
Of course we follow.
Yeah, of course. So with songs like Melancholy Angel having already amassed more than 1.9 million streams, Pirates is an album about living free of fear, about being yourself, and about living true to who you are. Do you think the message about freedom of self and freedom of mind is what's playing such a large role in the massive success that the album is seeing?
Well, I truly do believe that the lyrics of the record are a strong part of the reasons why the album is successful, that's for sure. Clemmy writes all the lyrics, and one important element, one fundamental element for her during the lyric writing is that despite the pirate environment, there must be a message. There has to be a message. She doesn't write things that don't carry, you know, something that is universal and something that can touch you. This was before, and this is now. If you go back, The Deep in the Dark, if you go back to Wanderers, when she started writing lyrics for Visions of Atlantis, basically, there is always a concept beyond the universe of the band itself. So I truly want to believe, of course, we should ask each and every single fan, what do you think, to get a real answer. But I do believe that the message is important. Of course, freedom is one of the most strong topics that we touch during the record. And this is also something that we recall during the introduction of the songs. You will hear it, or anyone who will attend the show, when we play freedom, there is an introduction that is focused on that topic specifically, because it is important. We are pirates, we are free. Pirates for us doesn't represent the thieves or the outlaws of the seas, but pirates for us are free men that chose to live their own life by choosing their own path. It's freedom and it's liberty. This is why we wanted to embrace the pirate universe.
Absolutely.
Because this is where we recognize ourselves. Of course, it's romanticized. Of course, there is the fun part, but the main element of being pirates is choose what to do in your life with your own brain and live it out. Yeah, live it out.
I'll never be such a fool. I'll open my heart when it all falls apart. I see the way we couldn't take, but can we let down the walls?
Darkness Inside and Heal the Scars are two songs that have made a huge impact on me since I first heard the demo. When I first, sorry, not the demo, but the promo.
Yeah, the promo. Yeah, sure.
And still now as well. As a musician myself, I'm an absolute sucker, I'll be honest with you, for the key modulation as well.
Okay.
That happens in Darkness Inside. Sure. Absolutely love it. It's really well placed. Due to some of the things that I've been through in my past, couple of years, family members I've lost due to them taking their own lives. These tracks have held a powerful meaning for me. Can you talk about the influences behind those two tracks?
So obviously, once again, this question should be addressed to Clemmy.
Yeah.
Because of course she would give you way more insights. But of course, Darkness Inside, clearly the topic is that we all have our demons, and it's undeniable. It's just undeniable. And in our path, I think that it's extremely important to make our demons friends and not enemies.
Yeah.
Because the moment in which you start to cope with your own demons, this is where you start to understand where do they come from.
Absolutely.
And step by step, by admitting they exist, realizing that they exist, coping with them, understanding that it's okay to have demons because we all have, and from that moment on, creating a sort of friendship with this dark side of you, accepting you because it's just inevitable. This is where you light the darkness inside.
Exactly.
And this is where it becomes really personal and really strong. At the same time, Heal the Scars is acceptance. It's a song about acceptance. This is also something that sometimes it's hard to admit, but we all make mistakes.
Absolutely.
And sometimes mistakes leave scars in our body, because sometimes one thing is correcting a mistake, which you can do in the future. One other thing is accepting a mistake, which is related to the past. But once a mistake happens, there is no way to correct it. There's no way to it happened. Like on the history book, it says that there was a mistake. And at a certain point, it's more important to heal the scars rather than to stuck to the fact that you made a mistake, because it's gone, And this is also really piratish,
Right.
Don't look back. Don't think of the past. The past happens, and you can learn from the past. You can heal your scars, but you can cancel them.
Exactly.
You
They're
can
still there.
erase them. There is no way.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm waiting for life full of torment within. An evil intention lies under my skin and leads me astray. In empty romance, I am losing myself. Delusional chance, I'm embracing silence and all shades of gray. Hopeless, I'm drowning, helpless, I'm trying, desperate to find the reason I can't believe.
So the music videos that have been released so far are really, really awesome. So Clock's the most recent one, which shows basically enjoying life as a pirate, right?
Correct.
And this video is so much fun, has amassed over 267,000 views in only 6.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Master of the Hurricane, most certainly an epic video, having racked up over 1.3 million in over 9 months. For you, which was the most challenging video to shoot, and which one was the most fun?
It was the most challenging was Melancholy Angel. Like
Yeah,
this is
I had a feeling. Yeah.
but you know why? Like this is not the first time that that I touched this topic. We recorded it in February last 2 years ago.
Right.
Last year,
Yeah.
February last year, in the Baltic Sea
Okay,
with
Yeah.
-2 degrees
Oof.
between 3 and 4 a.m.
that's crazy.
Like it's insane because we did a band shots in the evening. It was like 6:30 p.m. till 8 p.m. and that was it. But then we needed the night. We needed the organic night to
Yeah.
film the video. You know.
Yeah.
And for some reason, instead of going to Croatia or to the Bahamas, we found the perfect location in the Baltic Sea.
That's
And
awesome.
it was crazy cold.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was freezing. If you stop in the video in certain moment, if you stop and check the frame, you could see that our skin, has this
Like the goosebumps.
yeah,
right?
the duck skin, like in Italy we call it duck skin. I don't know
Yeah.
if this is the same name in American, but yeah, you can totally see that we are suffering.
Wow, that's crazy.
The most fun was Clocks. Like
Sure.
it's clear,
Sure.
you can see. Like
Yeah.
most of the things that are filmed in that video are organic. They just came up and we said, you know what, let's keep on going this way because this is just fun.
That's really
This
cool.
is just fun.
That's cool. That's great. So can we expect one more music video from the album?
I doubt it. I
Okay.
doubt it. Right now, as I said, as I anticipated, we are already projecting ourselves to the next record, and I think
That's awesome.
it's good that Pirates brought us where we are. We will still tour with Pirates for sure, but at a certain point, it feels like you want to squeeze the record. There is a moment in which even if the record is really good, the band should say, okay, this is enough. Otherwise, it's just too much. It's just
Yeah.
too much. We thought of recording Freedom too,
Sure.
because of the concept, because it's
Sure.
an easy song, because it could be a video that only Clemmy and I could record since in the studio version the instrumental is basically all orchestra. Live we include the band, but the studio instrumental is only orchestra, so it could be an easy video, but at the same time it just feels wrong.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it would be too much. We
That's
need
cool.
to-
On the strong command, see the world expand. Free the slaves to earn. Brave the man will stand. Till power rules the land. As the ocean's waves are the only grace to free thine on the
So lastly, on February 1st, it was announced that you're going to be releasing Pirates Over Vakken
Yes.
on March 31st via Napalm. And you also gave a sneak peek into that by releasing Pirates Will Return, with some versions offering the bonus DVD of your performance of 2022's Master of Rock
Yeah.
festival. How long after coming down from the high of Vakken did it take to realize that you wanted to use that as an actual album release?
1 second, probably.
Like you walk off stage, that's it.
No,
we're
1
doing it.
second. Yeah, we've been recording the entire festivals more for us
Cool.
than
Yeah.
with the purpose of releasing it, because of course, like, it was the first time that we were playing the Pirate song live. Because
Right.
We only toured for 10 days, and recording yourself and analyzing yourself, this is how you grow as a musician.
Absolutely.
Or this is really technical, but this is how you grow as a musician. And we started to record all the shows because we just wanted to analyze ourselves. But after having heard the performance itself, and after having, you know, re-listened to the Vakken performance, we were like, okay guys, this might be worth, you know,
Yeah, absolutely.
something, you know. And it's also nice, we are keeping the space of studio album, live album, studio album, live
Yeah,
album, also
yeah.
because I think for Visions of Atlantis in particular, it's important to state that we are a live band.
Absolutely.
Because you know, some bands they are more studio oriented, some bands they are more live oriented. We feel like we belong to the stage, and actually in our shows we offer some elements like the theater element, you know, this musical element, this interaction, these sketches that we perform that are purely live related. We can't do this in the studio because obviously there is no way.
Right.
But of course we are not. We can't put on a musical, you know, and release a video of a musical of our music. But we are a live band. Like now, tonight, you will you will attend our show, and you will see what's going on live.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you will say, okay, this is a completely different product. Let's use this word.
Sure.
Compared to the studio album that you will listen to, and it's two completely different fields. And we believe that our live feels is even stronger than our studio feel. And this is why it's important for us to release live material, so that we try to attract and reach new people.
Absolutely.
So that they are somehow, you know, that we can flirt with them to bring them to the live shows.
Yeah.
That's the point.
That's awesome. So, since you've been in the band, what's the proudest moment that you've had?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you ask me, it's Vakken. You know,
That's awesome.
like, I want to explain this quickly. I'm a Vakken fan. I've been going to
100%.
Vakken since 2012, every year till the pandemic.
Of course.
I had to stop. So going back to Vakken right after the pandemic, for me it was like just, to me that is the holy ground.
A huge time.
No offense to any other festival,
Of course,
but you know,
of course.
I have an affection. You know, I've been doing this pilgrimage to Vakken every year since 2013.
That's awesome.
You know,
That's awesome.
every year. Like
Yeah.
I am one of these metalheads that went to that festival every year. So playing there for the first time, thanks to Visions of Atlantis, this is, you know,
That's huge.
sorry to all the other festivals, but to me this is special.
Absolutely. Meek, thank you very much for taking the time today, chat. I
You're more
really
than welcome.
appreciate it. Again, so Pirates Over Vakken is releasing at the end of March 31st via Napalm Records. You'll be able to pre-order it, the link down below on the article. Meek, thanks again for your time today. I really appreciate
You're
it.
more than welcome. My
Thanks again.
pleasure. Thank you.